Hey traders, checking into the stock market today. I got shook out yesterday. False start for me. Bulls show up in a big way today. So that's the way she goes, and all you can do is tip your hat to the market and say touche. So I was too early, started. I thought today was going to happen yesterday is what it boils down to. Crypto bulls over the weekend, giving us a little bit of a clue. Yesterday, strong start. And so I was increasing bull exposure, going aggressive. I was taking off all my short exposure. Then we had the Apple news hit me in the face and say, nope, you're too early. That's a resistance rejection. And then today, because of that yesterday, because okay, got a red day, have to reset and be patient. And then of course today, I had completely erased that aggressiveness and I was in patient mode and so missed the majority of the move today. So that's the way it goes. No matter how many years you're in the market, it's always going to humble you eventually. So out of my flow state, after 2 weeks in a row of really solid consistency, last 2 days, definitely stutter step and stumbling. So we got to get it back. So one good thing that I did was not fight the bulls. I did head into this morning anticipating another reason why I let this move go is because the most likely scenario for me with how we opened this morning was looking for hourly lower highs. So we see the big drop yesterday on SPY and every single individual name had this setup where we had the big drop, we had the bounce in extended hours, and we were opening with still a whole bunch of space under the high of yesterday. So I was watching, for me, the most likely scenario was look for an hourly lower high compared to the high of yesterday, and then probably look for a higher low on most names because we did have some significant bounces at that point. But obviously it was just go time for the bulls. So by the time we broke resistance, things were too extended where I just said, I'm missing this move and I'll look for the next hourly high or low. So that's the way she goes. So SPY still has work to do. And is this the bottom? I don't know. And I don't have to know. I can position for it to potentially be, and I can watch for the key levels that will tell me that it is not. So what I am looking at is, for me, this is a tightening daily range that broke bull, but there is still another level. So it's a bull day today. All systems go, but we must break 393.16 tomorrow, and we must keep the hourly uptrend. If we lose the hourly uptrend from here, we have tons of space for an hourly high or low next time we pull back. If we lose the hourly uptrend from here, it's a red flag because that's a bull break of a tightening range with no follow through. The bulls, if they're going to be convincing here, we need an hourly uptrend to remain intact on SPY and QQQ through the week. I mean, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if we could do it for 3 days, that would be extremely convincing, but at least another couple days. So we don't have to shoot straight up like today. We can consolidate tomorrow, but has to be a higher low, and then it has to lead to continuation. So the red flag for me would be if this bull break loses the hourly uptrend and then heads into daily consolidation, we would call it a bull break with no follow through, and that would be a weekly lower high shaping up. So for me, is this a weekly trend change? No. And this is where I have discretion as a technical analyst. So when I'm teaching people things, if I were going to put this in a textbook, this would be a lower high and a lower low on SPY. If it were in a textbook, I'm not putting it in a textbook. So for me, that's a double bottom. That's a double bottom because the NASDAQ held support, a bunch of other sectors held support, and it's just much easier for me to view it that way rather than say, oh, it's a bear break and then get faked out. So it's a double bottom for me. So that means this is not a clear weekly pivot for me. I'm viewing this all as the same bounce, and I'm viewing anything under 417.44 as a weekly lower high. So again, this is where technical analysis and trading is not cut and dry, black and white with all examples. When we're teaching, we want to give nice, clear examples. We want to give nice, clear rules. But for me personally, I have a little bit of personal pizzazz on how I am viewing this current setup on SPY. And again, the fact that the NASDAQ was a crystal clear equilibrium is part of the reason that I am viewing that SPY that way. So QQQ has already broken to the highest levels that we've seen, but we know QQQ will not follow through unless SPY breaks its resistance level that we just looked at, whatever that was, 393.16. that has to break if we're going to get follow through. The NASDAQ is leading this move, QQQ divided by SPY. Well, I take that back. We do need a little bit more follow through here. We want a clear breakout to show NASDAQ strength. It's okay that it wasn't significantly leading today because everybody was participating. Financial sector was up 3% along with QQQ. IWM was up more than 3%. So if everybody's going up a lot, that's fine. But generally speaking, we want to see this QQQ divided by SPY chart remain in an uptrend. And if it were to start showing us some signs of weakness before QQQ and SPY show us signs of weakness, it's going to be a little bit of a clue. Hourly uptrend for QQQ, tons of space for the higher low bull reaction after hours to Netflix earnings. So Netflix is pushing around 10% on its earnings reaction. Amazon is up a little bit in response with its streaming service. Disney is up in response with its streaming service. So Netflix now has weekly EMA 12. We're breaking it. We'll see how we trade tomorrow, but Netflix potentially getting to the highest level here in months. So the monthly bounce is now underway for Netflix. And we zoom out and we scout a monthly lower high with all the space in the world for it to form. But a short-term win for the bulls. Tesla earnings tomorrow. We're going to be watching for a potential impact. But again, hourly uptrends are our guides and the bulls have full short-term control as long as the hourly uptrends remain intact. And when we lose the hourly uptrends, we will be looking for daily higher lows. Because QQQ right now can pull back 5% and still be in a daily uptrend. Obviously, if we did that, that would be a red flag, but we've got space for the daily higher low. Semiconductors following through. And going back to the short term, it was clear that the bears had nothing today, which is why I was not constantly fighting the bulls. I did make one attempt Netflix short on the morning and was able to position myself to just have a tiny loss on a stop out. But QQQ did the same thing as yesterday, where yesterday we hit the low of the day real quick, and then we bounced around in a tightening range, but the bears could not break the new low of the day. And same thing today. We hit the low of the day, big 5-minute bounce, equilibrium, and a bull break. We set 5-minute higher lows on SPY all morning, and then we just kept 5-minute EMA 12 support all afternoon. So it was convincing. And at midway point through the day, I realized this is the move that I was waiting for. I missed this move, and this breakout can definitely have follow through. And so again, that helped me not constantly be looking short on the day. It was a bull day from as soon as that equilibrium broke bull. From that point forward, there was not one sign of a bear on our major sectors. So semiconductors with the bull break, we're zooming out. We're watching weekly 2249.12 is a resistance level. We are coming off of the low, so we know if this move is going to have any significant follow through, we will have to see the first weekly uptrend, and we have not had a weekly uptrend since we lost it back in January. So it's going to take a while to play out. If we're going to see a weekly trend change to the bulls, we got to pull back for a couple weeks. We got to see continuation for a couple weeks. So not going to happen in the short term, and earnings are going to be a factor as well. But again, SMH has a ton of space for a daily higher low. Hourly uptrend is our guide for the rest of the week. When we lose it, we will be scouting daily higher lows. Tesla earnings are going to dictate how it breaks from this tightening range. Healthcare daily inside bar. Bulls trying to regain an uptrend here. If we break, it's still a weekly inverse head and shoulders attempt. So if we break 132.04, we're then in a weekly uptrend. And again, this has been a lead bull sector aside from a couple big bear days, but overall, we are still keeping this weekly consolidation fairly healthy. So if this confirms an inverse head and shoulders, we have more confidence in the S&P 500 bull break. Again, there's clues everywhere. We're just watching all these little pieces of the puzzle. The dollar weakness is a bullish clue. XLF, our lead bear sector, on its initial earnings reaction, forming a double bottom. So bulls played defense, and now the bulls are attempting to go on offense. So if we break 32.87, our lead bear sector will be at the highest, I should say our major lead bear sector will be at the highest level that it's seen in 5 weeks, which again will be notable. We zoom out, and we'll then watch weekly EMA 12 resistance from there. But clear daily resistance. Still a couple of resistance levels. SPY's got one. XLF has one. XLF has to confirm a daily uptrend if we're going to see conviction in follow through. IWM bull break of its equilibrium. That's one of the more convincing breaks at the moment. And look at the lack of history of previous price levels now in this range. We've got 181.55 and then a gap at 187.07. Hourly uptrend is our guide. Biotech sector. So holding on today, but not participating. I mean, it was a 4% green day, so definitely participating, but still range bound. And grinding EMA 12 on the daily. IWM is bullish, so we would have to see the S&P 500 and NASDAQ give us red flags if we're going to look at the biotech sector to consolidate on the weekly time frame. It's a stair-step pattern in the last 5 weeks on XBI. And so a simple statement would be if 79.29 is holding, bulls have full control. We have a double top at 84.63 to be watching. We have space for an hourly higher. Well, we already formed one, so hourly higher low is 82.34. And I would need to see the S&P 500 not follow through on this break for me to be looking bearish on the biotech sector for weekly consolidation. MARA, crypto name, following through with its short squeeze. First thing this morning, we held hourly support of 964, held that by 2%, shot up. Look at after hours, they're squeezing them. They're doing the squeeze thing. So how do we play squeezes? Well, obviously we don't try and short them. If the probability of you nailing the top on this short squeeze is very, 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 very low. So do I want to try a trade that has a very, 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 very low percentage? No, I don't. The risk is not worth the reward. So how do we play it? There's plenty of ways to play it. We play first 5-minute oversold conditions on the back burner, looking for an hourly higher low. If we gap up open tomorrow in a big way, we can look for a potential top fish on the first 10 minutes of the morning range. If we can try a top fish with a very low risk, if we gap up, I need that gap up to be overextended. Generally, big time breakout moves, the temporary tops are marked with a gap. Doesn't mean every gap is a temporary top, but it means most temporary tops are with a gap. So those are the ways that I'd be looking to trade it, as opposed to, just during the day trying to short it. I mean, there's a top fish there that worked out for a few percent, but only if you're real experienced, because again, the probability of nailing it is very low. And you look at the name of Riot, it's way weaker. Riot is just getting over the high of yesterday. It is not the same move. It's clear that market participants are saying MARA is our short squeeze horse for this time around. And we're now pushing 150% move in the last. And again, I've posted on Twitter, but you look at this move here. This is why I love playing bounces. And this is why bulls have immense more opportunity than bears in markets in general. This right here, if you nailed the all-time high, is that the all-time high? No. If you nailed the top and held till the absolute low, the perfect short trade, you made 93, 94%. Big win. You nailed it. And it took 8 months on the bounce. This move is very significantly more percentage-wise. So this move is 110%. I guess not very well, after hours are up a good bunch more, but this move is 110, 150% off of its low in a few weeks, 6 weeks versus 36 weeks, whatever it was. So in my opinion, that's why so many people like playing bull in markets. You got all these moves that go multiple hundreds of percent, which is more than any short can ever have unless you are using leverage. And again, just the example that I used on social media, Twitter, right? We've got Ethereum here. This drop, this bounce right now from the low is a larger percentage than this drop. And you look at that and you would think superficially, not even close. Bulls aren't doing anything compared to the bears. Meanwhile, buying the low to here, it's a very close percentage. It's only different by a few points, but it is more. That low to that high gives you more money than this high to this low. That's why I like playing bounces. But I have not been participating in this MARA short squeeze. There are too many. I am watching too many things. And that comes with being, running up the chart guys and answering questions and looking at all these different charts. So I've got to rein in my focus. CCJ is another one. So we knew to be looking on any dollar weakness, which we now have. Looking for CCJ bulls to set the weekly higher low, which they now have. Nice equilibrium tightening up. Anything under 28.28, just a lower high. But between the crypto stocks and crypto markets itself and uranium names and cannabis names and Tesla and NIO, I just need to hone in on the focus. It's nice when there's a clear sector where this is the sector that you focus on. And that happens every now and again over the years. Cannabis will have its time. It had its time. It will have another one. Clear when crypto bulls, it's time to focus bullish on crypto. But definitely in 2022 here, and in multi-directional now, because now we got the bears. We're focusing on the bears as well. It's always nice when it's just one direction and one sector. Makes things nice and easy. But now we got multiple directions and multiple sectors. Volatility all over the place. The VIX. So I was surprised yesterday that the VIX was not up more with all of our sectors pulling back. And I'm surprised today that the VIX is not down more with all of our sectors with big bull days. But it's all about 2374 weekly tightening range to see if we remain within that weekly tightening range or not. The dollar, 4-hour downtrend confirmed. Daily pullback is big enough. This is the biggest daily pullback that we've seen over the last couple months. And if the bears are going to prove it, we were looking for weekly consolidation. We got it now. So now we're looking for a weekly higher low. I'm also looking for monthly consolidation, but it's too soon to say. The first step that I need to say, that might be our monthly top, is a confirmed daily downtrend. Confirmed daily downtrend is the first baby step towards monthly consolidation. And so I'm watching the dollar for clues. If we do not confirm a daily downtrend, then I'm not going to be as big a believer in the broader market bull move that we're currently seeing unfold. I was also posting on Twitter about how funny it is thinking about how many millions of people are going to be baffled about today's market move. Why are we going up? What is the news? We know it was a tightening range for weeks and weeks that is breaking. And that builds up pressure, and then you get the follow through. And so a bunch of people were offside short. They've got to cover. A bunch of people are going long into this bounce. But as far as today's action, there's no news. I'm sure they'll attribute it to something, but it's the technicals. Oil. Switching contracts to CLU, daily resistance 102. Whether we break it or not on this test, we will be looking for a daily higher low next consolidation because of the size of this bounce. So the burden will be on bulls to confirm the daily trend change, but testing 102 resistance in the short term. Natural gas looking close to daily consolidation beginning. Hourly is an equilibrium. Essentially, if this hourly equilibrium breaks bear, that significantly increases probabilities that daily consolidation is coming, in my opinion. Let's see our other risk on names. GME, meh, bull break today, but not much follow through. AMC, gap up for profit taking. They're choosing MARA. Bitcoin's at the high today, but Bitcoin's not exploding. It's just due to the short pressure. Everybody was on one side of the boat for MARA. And this is the boat flipping. All right. Feel free to ask any questions. Do good things. Hourly uptrends must be maintained for bulls to keep short-term control. SPY must break our second resistance level. We're continuing to watch the dollar and all our clues. MARA will have significant volatility tomorrow, that's for sure. Cannabis names, MSOS did break a little triple top at the end of the day, trying to get some bounce follow through, but we know it's just going to form a weekly lower high. It's just a question of how much bounce follow through can we get before we form that weekly lower high. I still have a partial swing position. And the volume is just absent. But after today, curious to see. I mean, we've had the risk on since the weekend in crypto. Again, that fake out yesterday, that's definitely something that I need to sit in the woods and think about psychologically, because they got me. All right. Do good things. See you tomorrow. Gotta harvest some berries, but let them go first. They can have the low-lying ones. Man, they got it made, huh? Got some mint and wineberry and blackberry water going. There's too many berries for me to keep up with, so this is how I make them not go to waste. Nice and infused a bit later. I guess that's what, 18 hours later?